Hello, ninth grade English honors classes. How are you? I hope that you are having a good start to the week. In my last message, I talked about some skills, some habits, some things that we should all be doing as we transition to online learning. In this message, I want to focus on the resources that I'm posting today that you will be using for the next essentially 2 weeks, really 3 weeks if you count the spring break week. So this is for now through April 17th. Um, the resource that I'm going to be referring to often is a Hyperdoc. That is a fancy way of saying a assignment sheet that has dates, deadlines, has all of the links and resources you need to engage in online learning. Um, but what I'm going to do here momentarily is I'm going to turn my screen from me to a screencast where you'll be able to see some specific things that are in Google Classroom, and I want to guide you through it so that as you start working on this, you have a little bit of guidance, the type of guidance I would be giving you if I was there in the classroom with you. All right, so without further ado, let's get away from me and take a look at my screen here. Okay, so we're going to go first of all here to the Google Classroom page. I'm using my 6 block, but this can also apply for 8 block as well. So as you're looking at this here, you're going to see that there is a saved announcement. Well, that's where this video is right there, and it will be posted shortly. Underneath that, you're going to see a few things that are listed currently. So there is a distance learning Q&A for you guys, and there is a check-in form. If you have not done this, please do this ASAP. When you click on it, it will look like this. I just ask your name, your class and block. Are you aware that we're doing online learning? Ask you some questions about your Chromebook and devices, and then it kind of asks you what you've been up to, and also if you have any questions. From here, your questions that you posted, I created the document that is right here, Distance Learning 9 Q&A. So I will try to keep on adding things. This will be a good document for us to have for any updates that I want to pass along to everybody. Will we meet for class online? At this point, they're telling us we're not supposed to use any video conferencing with you guys. So no live video conferencing. Instead, we'll be using these Hyperdocs. What is a Hyperdoc? Well, in a moment, we're going to take a look at the first one you're going to use. But like I just said, it's a digital document. It's going to have links in it. It's going to have activities, assignments. It's essentially a lesson plan for the next 2 weeks of content. Third quarter grades, I don't know what's going on. Fourth quarter grades, I don't know. The only most recent update is right here that Loudoun County is trying to tell us that they'll have more information before April 15th. And yeah, so one big question that you guys had is how will we do book clubs? Well, you'll see that in just a minute, but you and your group are going to have to communicate with each other and set up some way to do a digital chat, whether it's with video cams or not. You're going to have to be able to talk to each other. What have you guys been up to? That's the left column over here. What have I been up to? Right over here. So you can kind of see that in this document. So in Google Classroom, check-in form first. Take a quick look at this. And then right above this, tomorrow morning, I will be posting our Hyperdoc for March 30th through April 17th. And I will also post in that a response sheet. All right, let's take a look first of all at the Hyperdoc. So there are directions. There are links to rubrics and lit circle roles because you're going to need to be doing that with your groups for your book clubs. There are expectations. Take a moment to look at this, see what the expectations are. And then you're going to see there are boxes with headings. Essential questions listed first. Engage and explore. Explanation. Book clubs. Apply, share, discuss. Book clubs extend. Vocabulary and warm up life lyrics. Okay? So those are the headings that are in this document for the next few weeks. Let's kind of break this down. Essential questions. Basically, why do we read? Why are we doing book clubs? Some questions, some big questions for you to consider. where are you going to answer these questions? Well, that is a good question itself. You are going to answer the questions and complete the activities on this Hyperdoc in a response sheet. Let me show you that. So, every student will have one of these response sheets in Google Classroom for them. You'll have your own copy. You will complete the sections of this. So those essential questions. Why do we read? You're going to type your answer to why you think we read right there. Why is it important to read for fun? You'll put that in right there. Maybe this question. Think about some of the most powerful reading experiences you've had. What made them powerful? What did you learn or gain from these experiences? You can type that in right there. The engage and explore section. On the previous Hyperdoc, there was a link to a lecture that the author Neil Gaiman gave and an article about that lecture. You can choose either one of those things, and then you will complete this section here based upon what you've read or watched. The explanation section, if we go back, I'm going to go back to the actual Hyperdoc for just a moment. And the explanation section, I've tried to break down for you what you need to do in regard to the book club. It even mentions a brief screencast video. That's what I'm showing you right now. But you're going to have to use some sort of resource. I mentioned Google Meet as an option. You're going to have to set up meetings, you and your group. You're going to have to communicate. Because by April 17th, you need to have 3 of your book club meetings done. And at each of those meetings, whatever your role was that you came up with for your group. So the first meeting, whatever my role is, I need to complete the corresponding segment in the Lit Circle roll sheet and paste it into my Hyperdoc. Let me show you what that looks like. Meeting 1, Lit Circle roll. Paste your completed sheet right here. So if I am the passage master, I'm going to put the passages in that sheet right there. If I'm the illustrator, maybe for meeting 2, I'm going to put a picture of whatever I've created illustration-wise. If I am, for meeting 3, maybe I am the reporter. I'm going to put my whole sheet from reporting pasted in right there. When we are done with those meetings, I'm going to go back to the other sheet for just a moment. So you've done your book clubs, you've completed your roles, 3 meetings. I'm going to ask you to extend what you've learned so far from the book clubs. You have a few options right there. Whichever option you choose in your response sheet, you're going to write a brief reflection. Beyond that, there really isn't more book club stuff to mention. But I do have vocabulary next unit listed here, and I do have warm-up life lyrics. You're familiar with this. We've been doing it all year. You should feel pretty comfortable. There are 4 poems in there. I'm kind of bummed that we weren't there in person because some of these are spring poems. Some of these are NCAA tournament, basketball-based poems. It would have fit for this time of year perfectly. But you do not need in your Hyperdoc response sheet to type anything right here. You're going to be doing that in Google Classroom for any warm-ups you do. As you can see, this is a good amount of work. You're supposed to average out roughly 30 minutes per day for your classes. This might be more than the total work that 30 minutes per day for 2 to 3 weeks would account for. I'm going to rely on you to give me some feedback at the end of this first Hyperdoc to let me know if this was too much or if this was the right amount of work. I know it's going to vary for different people. So remember, you have this document where all of the assignments are, Hyperdoc. You are going to put your responses in this document, and you're going to be saving that in Google Classroom. I can see your progress throughout the week. If I see that you have not touched this by this coming Friday, by April 3rd, I'm going to reach out to you and your family at that point, you and your parent and guardian. If I don't hear back from you and your parent or guardian about why you're not able to be working on this, then I have to reach out to counselors and to administrators at that time. If there is a reason, if there's health reasons, if there's anything else, please let me know. We can work through that, okay? I try to be as reasonable and helpful as I can. I care about you guys and want you to learn, but I want you to be healthy first and foremost. So let's go back to Google Classroom. Right up here is where you will find the Hyperdoc tomorrow. You'll also find that response sheet, and I'll assign that so that everybody can complete it and turn that in by April 17th. As usual, I look forward to reviewing what you come up with and providing you feedback. And if you do have questions, remember to reach out through email or utilize those times that I mentioned in the other video for online office hours. We'll be doing that with ninth grade honors on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 1 to 2 p.m. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Looking forward to seeing how this goes.